Hello, everybody. It's not even 7 o'clock yet, and I'm all good and ready to go, and everything's set up. I don't have to do anything. Yay! I saw that Becky was on here. I think I still had like about how much time did I have? Did I have like about 15 minutes or so? Um, Yeah, I decided to get ahead of the game, so I had everything scheduled. Everything was put out there. I figured let me go ahead and do the link for the Google spreadsheet and pin that comment to the top and get that done. So that's done. And I feel weird that I'm not like posting to Facebook or anything to advertise this. And yay, 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 yay. Um, so it's been, I'll give it another minute before I say any more. So, Yvonne's not going to physically be here tonight. She's kind of sitting this weekend out. But hopefully, she remembers I'm going live tonight. She should be remembering. If she wants to be my assistant, she's got to do better. So Terry's asking if anybody needs to be added to that Google spreadsheet for a drawing for one of tonight's cards. And there is a bonus card. So if you saw the thumbnail, there is a bonus card because these cards went together pretty quickly. So, the 2 hour live probably would have been like about, what, maybe 45 minutes or something, or less than that. So I decided to throw in a bonus card. And it just so happens it's a coordinating stamp set that goes with the set of dies. So I decided to throw in a card with that takes a little bit longer to do because there's a little bit of coloring on that one. But the other projects, I don't. I did this either last Saturday or Sunday. I got it all done, so it's remembering what exactly I did. Yeah, so the three cards. Um, so there's no coloring on it, except one of them has a little bit of coloring on it, but it's not coloring a stamped image. Um, but yeah, the last card, definitely there is some coloring to do on that one. And let's see, so we got Becky and Deborah, Terry, Tracy. Okay. Yeah, Terry, she knows. She know and it's Rocky. We know that Yvonne knows. She should know. What'd she do? She went to go and have dinner and she was watching TV and she forgot to come back. Or I talked to her on the phone 15 minutes before I was going live and she totally forgot because she never came on. Shame on her. But I forgave her. So one of the things that I do have a little bit of, yeah, Becky, your card is one of those things that I have to work on this weekend. Luckily, you're just the next state up north, so you should definitely get it before then because your card will go out with everybody else's card from tonight. Yeah, I've been kind of busy, so over last weekend, I got everything done and put together. What do you call it for tonight? I also had everything done for Thursday, and that was all recorded and scheduled. And then I worked on what's happening for next Thursday, so that's done. That's scheduled. This Friday's done. Then I also started. I'm going to show you what else I'm working on that looks pretty cool. It's not quite done yet, but I have to get it done like pretty quickly, like this weekend. like get it done so I can get it sent out because it's got to get to Oregon before Saturday the 28th. So I'm going to show you what I did with that. I'm just waiting for um there's a part that I need, or element to it that I need, that that's still got to come in the mail. Let me go grab my water really quick. And while I do that, you can see the wonderful stitch collection I got going on back here. So, when I get frustrated, you know, there's this one. And then I got my little guy that plays the guitar with the shades. And then it's like I got these little guys, little patriotic ones. And we got him with his little floaties on. Isn't he cute? And this twinkle in his eye is a star. And then we got this one with the ice cream. He's just so stinking cute. And then I gotta say, this one kind of came together, and I think it's hilarious. So I don't know what her name's supposed to be, okay? But this kind of describes me, and maybe some of you, when you find something that just tickles you, and you just think it's so funny. Look at this. Look at this. He realized that he can put his fingernail on the record player and it'll play. Isn't that hilarious? I love him. He's just so dang funny and cute. Yeah, so, man, I got a mess up here. I think I gotta fire the maid. She needs to, like, do some major cleaning. Oh, Yvonne's here. I was wondering if you were gonna remember. I'm being funny. The week, well, the work part of it still, but everything else was okay. So, yeah, you remembered. Because we had that little discussion just a moment ago if you were going to remember to come on, because I made mention that you weren't going to be here in person this weekend. So let's see. I said hi to Froggy and Yvonne, and don't see anybody else new, but yeah, so what's been going on? Well, remember the work laptop issue I was telling you about? Look, Terry, I've been using this ever since you gave this to me. Placing bets? No, we didn't place bets. No bets. Where I couldn't get the laptop to work on a dual monitor. So it will forever be the helpless desk. And maybe I need to change professions, and maybe I should go into IT because, hello, I figured it out myself. With a little bit of help of Stephanie, my coworker. She had shown me what she was using to get hers. Now, mind you, her laptop is the same type of laptop. The only difference is mine has Windows 11 on it and hers doesn't yet. And so, let's see, Thursday, I think I may have said that I ordered two display port cables for the monitors at work. And then the next day, Friday, I had ordered this splitter. So one end is a USB-C that I can put into the laptop. And then it has two display ports to put the cables in. Yeah, I tried that at home. I think it was probably that Sunday maybe. And guess what? It worked. It worked. And I had purchased, like I said, the two cables and another one of those splitters. And when I went into work on Tuesday, guess what? I got it to work. And when I put it on the ticket notes that I got it to work, I really wanted to put it all in capital letters that I figured it out. But when I sent an IM to the guy that spent over 3 weeks trying to figure it out and had Dell come out and replace the motherboard, which probably did not need to be done, and just frustrated me because I really couldn't do much. I mean, I was working, but you know how hard it is when you need bigger screens and more than one screen, and you're trying to go from one screen to another on just one laptop screen, which is much smaller. Yeah, he went and asked me, so how did I figure it out? And I said, yeah, I got the splitter and I got the cables. Oh wow, it works. Now I just have to get that other laptop shipped back, which I was trying to do on Wednesday, but the people downstairs would not respond to me when I was asking when can I come down with it so I can give it to you so you could ship it out, give me the tracking number, and then I can let the guys know about it. No, we reached out, was it yesterday morning, and I said, well, it's going to have to wait now till Tuesday. So, but I figured it out. Maybe I should go into IT. I mean, clearly any IT person that I've really dealt with doesn't know what they're doing. I probably know more than they do. And you know what? And then my Foxit, putting it onto the new laptop. See, where I work, not everybody has Foxit. There's only 15 users that are on this one key. And so, in order to get it on this new laptop, it needed to be deactivated off of the old one. And unfortunately, even though I got the key, it was uploaded, I have it on the new laptop. Yeah, I didn't have the access to deactivate it. So I needed one of those guys to go and do it. Just give me the damn access and let me do it myself because I'll get it done. But anyway, so that's working. And then again, I worked on the projects for this Thursday and tonight and next Thursday. And I'm currently also planning and working on what's going to happen next Friday. So let me take a peek. I don't see her on here. Maybe she'll be on here. I don't know. But Andrea, the plan is still in place that so next Friday and Saturday you're going to have two lives. So I'm going to do my Friday night live, which I'm going to use the beautiful bouquet, or is it bouquet, um, suite. That's the one with the butterfly. That's also the same one that I need to get mailed out to you, Terry. And soon as I do see Yvonne, because Yvonne's got a couple of more things that has to go into the box. So once she brings that over, then we can get that box shipped out to you that has that suite. Another thing that I will make mention, so there's only one person on here that I see that it would really apply to. I was talking about tomorrow that I was going to do that in-person class, and I was going to use that new suite of products that's going to be in the new holiday mini catalog. Hello, Don. That's going to be in the new holiday mini catalog. It was something that they were Stampin' Up was using for their demonstrator only event, Creativity Now. And so I don't think I did a very good job in regards to like putting it, out there for local people. So yes, Yvonne knew about it because I told her about it. I did put it in my newsletter. However, when I talked to Andrea, she really didn't, maybe she didn't remember because I may have mentioned it once or maybe not. Either she didn't look at the newsletter or wasn't really much on here, and I understand it. So when I asked her the other on Wednesday night if she was coming over on Saturday for it, she's like, I didn't know that it was happening. So because I want to try and have a little bit of a bigger turnout for it, I decided that I was going to push it out probably in August, because in August is when we'll be able to pre-order out of, as a demonstrator, pre-order out of that catalog. Now, things in there won't go live to customers until September, but at least if I want more designer series paper, more embellishments, at least I'll be able to get more. So as of right now, I mean, I have all those projects figured out. Two of them I had to change it up a bit because the two projects asked for too much designer series paper, and I would not have had enough to, create. I created a total of 8 packets. One of it was the sample projects. um, Terry, one of them is for you, and that's actually going to be in the box. Stampin' Up did supply to those demonstrators that registered for it the directions, pictures of what it looks like, measurements of the cardstock and the paper and all that. So that's what we were going to do tomorrow. And now the Creativity Now event is not just doing just the projects, because all of this is more about creating than anything about business side of Stampin' Up. And so there is a virtual event. Now, my plan was, again, when I was going to have this event, that yes, there were going to be probably a couple of people that are not demonstrators, so they really shouldn't be watching it. My plan was not for us to watch it during that thing, because first off, we'd be at my dining room table, and when you're sitting at my dining room table, most people are not going to be able to even see the TV in the living room. So I wasn't planning on playing that. But um so what they're going to do with this event, they're not only going to show you how to make the projects, which I've already kind of figured that out. um, they're also going to do some sneak peeks of what's going to be in that holiday mini catalog as well. And it's possible that maybe there could be something in there that's for online online exclusives, maybe. I don't know, but that'll be something that happens tomorrow. So that happens, what is it, from 10 to 2 Mountain Time tomorrow. So we'll see what happens. Tomorrow, Andrea's going to be coming over. She's going to work on her projects for next Saturday. So we are, so like I was mentioning, we're going to have our Friday Night Live next Friday at the same usual time. And then what we kind of did with Terry on Saturday, the Saturday after, because I may have pre-recorded that one, but on that Saturday, next Saturday, Andrea is going to be the guest stamper, and she's going to be using this bundle, the Sunrise Sailing, with the what is that? The hybrid embossing folder and the dies and the stamp set. This is what she's going to be using. Now, I didn't get to use this yet, so she's going to, so I probably won't be doing this as a Friday Night Live, because she's going to do it on Saturday. Um, right now, the time for that is going to be 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. So if you guys are available, I mean, be sure to come back. And again, I'll make mention of this next Friday. And let's see what else. What else is happening or going on? Um, Well, I'm going to show you what I've been working on, and actually it's been going together a lot quicker than I thought it would. So again, I have to wait on a part for it. Well, an element for it is more like what I want to say. So I'll show you what I'm doing. Um, what next Saturday, Yvonne? So are you going? Well, when you say that you're going to be there, are you going to be here in person, or hello, Carol, or you gonna be at home watching it? Because if you're here in person, I don't think you need to set a reminder for it, because I think we'll remind you. Yeah, so tomorrow Andrea's going to come over and she's going to work on it. What do you mean I hadn't let you know? I left the decision up to you. That's what I said. You're more, I mean, even like this weekend and tomorrow, you were more than welcome to be here too. I said that too. You're friends with Andrea too, so but yeah, she at one point she couldn't find the set of dies that we're using tonight. Um, she couldn't find these, and so she's kind of told me that her three projects that she's gonna do are fun folds. There's an idea that's in her head of what she wants to do with these dies, but then she couldn't find them. And it's funny because it seems like I have a knack of finding things for her, and I'm not even physically there with her. Because I said to her, well, when was the last time you used it? Didn't you use it when you were here? A while, like, well, it was a while since she's been here. I said, didn't you use it on those birthday cards? And then I said, like, you had your blue tote bag. Is it in there? Is it in your little rolling cart that you always bring, like, to your dining room table if you're working at your dining room table? And later on, she came back and she said, you found them for me, because she checked her bag and she had checked her bag earlier, I guess in the day or the day a few days ago. Couldn't find it. She went back and looked, and it was actually in between some sheets of cardstock. So she found her dies, and so she feels better with, that she found them. But yeah, so she's going to be working on her projects tomorrow, which is good because then I can get the dimensions of it. I can take a picture of her final projects to create the thumbnail for the video, and we can have that all set up for her when next well Saturday of next week rolls around. Now, I I've been tossing around what I want to do the following Friday. So the following Friday is 4th of July here in the US. And just like New Year's, fireworks, gun shooting, and I never have very nice things to say because they're not supposed to be doing this. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing about that. So there's a bundle that I did purchase because there was a project in particular that I really liked that someone did, and I felt that that would be perfect for 4th of July. I thought about pre-recording it, but then it's like usually I don't put the camera on myself if I'm pre-recording, and doing a kind of live. But let me see. Hold on a second. It's not there. Let me show you something. So you're looking at the back of my head now. But you see, I always thought about, I wanted to do this whenever it was like a holiday or something. And I keep forgetting. But then Wednesday when I was in Hobby Lobby, I ended up getting these. And I was going to wear these because it was 4th of July. It was the actual holiday. So now it's like, I don't know, maybe all of y'all can help me and distract me in, cursing them out and saying other not nice things, because that's what usually happens. Because I like fireworks, I just don't believe they should be done on this property. Um, okay, that's fine. Yeah, 4th of July, like I said, I mean, it's here it's just not the same at all. I mean, being from New York, I mean, when it was 1976, I mean, at that time my dad was in the Navy. He was we always stayed around New York and New Jersey, but that year the destroyer that he was on was docked there at the naval base, and we got to be on the ship to watch the fireworks at the Statue of Liberty. So that, and then they had like the tall ships and all that. Now that, yes, but here, Memphis. First off, I don't think I want to be out at night. I'd probably get shot because people shoot off guns. This is why I don't go nowhere on New Year's Eve either. Um, but I like them. It's just, it's not the same here. So, yeah, so I'll probably be on, and you guys can help me not, say really bad words out loud. So, with that, I'm going to flip this around, and Froggy's going to be right back. I'm going to flip this around, and I'm going to do a little show and tell. Yvonne forgot this, I think it was last Friday, or maybe the Friday before. No, probably last Friday. And she handed it to me, and she wanted me to show all of you since, well, I've shown other cards and stuff. So I got a little show and tell. I'm going to show you what I'm working on that I'm almost done with. Pretty stoked about how it's turning out. And then a little bit of housekeeping because a whole lot has not changed since last Friday. And we're almost a half an hour into this live. Now, like I said, the projects are going to be fairly quick because by the time I got done with the three of them, I'm like, okay, this went really quick, and everything's pre-cut, and some things I can stamp because the stamp set is photopolymer. So the projects are going to go fairly quick. And again, instead of 3 cards, we're doing 4 cards because I added a bonus one in there because it did go by really quick. And what's good is the stamp set coordinates with those dies too. So instead of doing a whole separate video just for that stamp set, um, okay, Carol. Yeah, for you guys up in Canada, you're not exactly celebrating the 4th of July with us. Okay, so let me move this water out of the way so I don't knock it over. And let me go ahead and flip this. You can look at my lovely ceiling, and I can bring this down. And let's flip it. And let's get it lined up. And I'll bring it down a little bit. I'm probably too close. We'll see. If the thing starts freaking out a bit and it keeps wanting to focus because I'm too close. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to show you, so we have already mentioned this and said this, that Miss Terry is an amazing card maker. And I had shown you the amazing card that she had made me for my birthday. So let me So this was the card that she made me because she knows I love the purple and I love flamingos. And she did an amazing job on this. Beautiful little work of art. And then for when she was out here, and we kind of did a celebration of birthdays because hers and Yvonne's are both in April. This is the card that she made for Yvonne. Look at this card. Look at all those little itty bitty tiny flowers that are all cupped and have little pearls in them. She's even got the paper in there. Like, it's just, look at the detail on that. Isn't that amazing? And then there's the inside of the card. So she's got one of those rosettes in there. And then it sits like that. Isn't that amazing? That is like a work of art. That when you get a card like this, you know that person loves you because that is a lot of work. Yeah, Terry, she wanted me to show the card, but she kept forgetting it. So when she did come last weekend, I she brought it and I put it in the thing so I wouldn't forget. But look at all that detail. Isn't Terry an amazing card maker? I mean, this is just like wow. Terry, how long did it take you all together to put this card together? Because I know all those little tiny flowers had to take a really long time. No, I'm not going to stop because it is amazing, Terry. You do amazing work. And then even the back is decorated and it's the whole shape of the carousel. That's just so pretty. And of course you see a lot of pink in there because that's Yvonne's favorite color too. So really, really pretty. Oh, get out of here. Only 4 hours? I know that would take me a lot more. That would probably take me more than a day to do. And she even filled in up here. Wow, girl. Yeah, I think I saw you cry a little bit too. So we'll put it back in this little acetate box. And we'll put that aside and I'll put that back. Yeah, and we were drunk too. And yeah, so she got a little teary-eyed. But yeah, so that'll go back into the spare room where she's got a lot of stuff in the dresser drawers. Okay, now let me show you what I've been doing. Okay, so you remember earlier in the month on the 6th, that Friday, June 6th, when I said, yeah, we need to like be less than 2 hours because my granddaughter was graduating. Well, so there's going to be a graduation party for her. And I decided that I was going to create a banner for her. Now, what I used, I don't know if anybody has this or not, but my gosh, I think in all the time that I've been, doing anything regarding Stampin' Up, I have never seen like packaging for dies this big. I mean, these dies are huge. Of course, you're seeing the lights like glaring on it, but there's this alphabet set that, I mean, look at the size of those letters. I mean, they're huge. And then the banners are, I mean, you get a lot of banners, a lot of different size banners in here. And I mean, these are a bigger set of dice, so these come as a bundle, and it is a bit more pricier than most of the other bundles, but I mean, this is so versatile. I mean, you can create with this year round. And people have made banners, people had made tree packaging, they have used this to make tags. So you can do a whole lot with these dies. So these actually showed up, and I mean the timing was perfect. They showed up. Well, I don't get anything delivered here anymore. I have to go to the UPS store to get it. Those were delivered on Wednesday, and I picked those up. I actually opened up the box to pull them out so I can buy the stuff to make the banner pieces. So I found, now this isn't Stampin' Up. I did find this nice shimmer paper or cardstock actually in black, and then also in this really pretty red. So the school colors are red, black, and white. And then so the all the letters are black. Then this is regular basic white cardstock, which is popped up. And then I punched out the holes using my crocodile. And there is a die that will do like the circles for it, but that would have took way too much time. So once I figured out where I wanted these holes, then I punched them out, and then I just traced them on the back of all the other ones and then punched those out. Now, these aren't complete. You guys remember eyelets? Well, I have ordered a whole bag of silver 3/16 size silver eyelets that actually were delivered at the post office today, so I'll be getting those tomorrow. And once I get them, I will be pulling this back out, and I will be putting them in all those holes. And then, of course, it says congratulations. And then I did pick up two of these. I think this is, yeah, Hobby Lobby's Paper Studio. So again, their gowns and their caps were all red. And then I bought some floss. So I have, this is DMC floss. So number 310 is the black. The what is that, BS 5000, I think that one is. It's the bright white, and then the red is number 817. And so I did look at a picture of wearing the cap, and her tassel was all red, black, and white. And then I found little charms that said 2025 in silver. Now I may redo this again because I'm not liking that you see the little knot that I tied the little charm to it. So I may redo them. They didn't take long to do. And then I bought these little cap, graduation cap charms. I think I may use these two, and I may make another banner the same size or maybe a little bit smaller and use those numbers that I think, what is that? That wildflower birthday set where the dies have the numbers, and then do the 2025 for it. And then I have some black 1/4 inch wide satin ribbon that will fit to hopefully this will be long enough. This is 6 yards, so hopefully 6 yards will be enough for that whole big congratulations. So excuse me. So this is what I need to like get done like pronto, because this has to go into the box of stuff that I'm going to send her. And she loves Stitch too. So yeah, most of the stuff that I ended up getting for her are Stitch stuff, but that's going to be for her birthday because her birthday's on the 26th. So let me move that out of the way. So that's it on the show and tell. Other things that are going on, and Sharon's with us. Hello, Sharon. Um, let's see. Okay. So this buy one get one 50% off on all the sweets and the sweet products. This is still going on. Um, this will go on until June 30th. So again, it's not per se just the whole entire suite. It's also anything that was part of a suite. And also, if it's something that's on the last chance list that say it was, for example, that black and very vanilla large check ribbon, that was actually part of a suite that was in the holiday mini catalog, I think like 2 years ago. It could have been three. I can't really remember. When I saw that it was on the last chance list, I went and ordered two of them. And then before I placed the order, I saw that one of them was actually 50% off of the sale price. So this is where you have to really pay attention as to what you're putting, on your order, because say if you put in two sweets, figuring, okay, you're going to pay the price for the higher one, and then you would think the other suite would be 50% off. But then say you put in like 2 packs of designer series paper that were part of, say, another suite. What's going to happen, because that paper's part of another suite, it's going to be the paper that is going to be the 50% off. So it's going to be whatever the lowest priced item is. So when I placed my order, I mean, I literally did the suites together. I didn't do anything individual because I wanted to have that lower price suite at 50% off. If you have like any additional questions, about this, because it does seem a little bit confusing, but to really take advantage of this sale, you really gotta look at what it is that you're putting in your cart. And why is my voice like acting up? You'll see whatever's going to be the 50% off. You'll see like on the little image of the product in your cart, it's going to say offer. It's going to be a little pink bar in the upper left hand corner of that, and it's going to say offer. So that's going to be the item that's going to be 50% off. And again, if you got any questions about this, feel free to reach out. The email, it is in the description. Then there's still this virtual album retreat. So if you're into the scrapbooking, this is going to happen July 16th through the 18th from 2 o'clock to 10:30 p.m. Mountain Time. So whatever your time zone is equivalent to that. Now, the registration for this, basically the registration is purchasing the month by month album retreat. Now, the cost of this, now this is in the US. It is $250, but what you are getting on in this, so you're going to be creating a 2-page layout for each month, and you're going to have individual packets for each month. You're going to have all of the cardstock, you're going to have all of the designer series paper, all of that stuff is going to be pre-cut, and it's going to be in, that envelope. You're also going to get page protectors for them. Now, you're going to have, there's going to be like 4 individual photopolymer stamp sets. So one of them's going to have like all your letters and numbers. Others have different images in it. There's, what else is there going to be? I don't think ink is included. I know the album isn't included with it, but you're getting quite a bit. So when you purchase this kit, that's going to be your registration into it's a private Facebook group, and then they're going to be doing the live event in the Facebook group, and then of course you'll be able to watch it later on. Now, I'm kind of hoping Stampin' Up realizes that if they end up doing a video on Facebook that they're going to have to take that and they're going to have to move it like to YouTube or something, because Facebook, I don't know what the timing is, but they're they're not letting you keep, if you do a live, they're not letting you keep it on your page for very long. So if they put it over to YouTube, then it'll be there as long as YouTube is still going. So they'll be able to go back and, rewatch what's happening. So you got like 3 days worth of it, and then from 2 to 10:30. So that's a pretty long time for 3 days to put all of these projects together. Again, I didn't purchase this simply because I'm not really a scrapbooker. So, but I do want to let you know about it in the event, I have anybody watching who is. And then again, there's still the last chance products. These things go until yeah, like 30 days. Yeah. They sent me even a message about, I think it's in July, maybe early July or something, or maybe the end of July is when they're going to remove videos off of the pages. Now I know I think I have two videos on mine. There was one like when I first got my Arkin stand, and I basically showed this cool project that I created. I mean, it was the very first time doing a video, and that was quite a few years ago. And then there was that challenge that I did a couple of years ago where I went to do a Facebook Live. I've never really done it, and of course I didn't know the orientation wasn't right, and there was a glare from the ring light on my laminated grid sheet. Yeah, I was not going back and changing it. And believe me, I even wrote a script for that. But all of that kind of stemmed to where I am now and doing these pre recorded videos and the lives. So that's that on that. Um, and this time, the PDF that is for the projects that I am making tonight, this is out there on my Google Drive. In the description of the video, that last paragraph right above the list of supplies, that link will take you to my Google Drive where all of the PDFs that I have for all of the Friday night lives and the kind of lives, that's where they're all out. They're from, wow, since going back January 26th of 2024, I believe, is when I started. And so when you click on the actual date, it'll take you back to that video, that live or kind of live that I did. So in here, you got the list of all the supplies. There are pictures, and then dimensions. If I stamped on something, I'm telling you what I used to stamp with. So this is already out there. So since I got this all done ahead of time, I figure, okay, let me go ahead and put this out there, and everything is done. All I have to do is just hit go live on the laptop and make sure my phone's on do not disturb, and we're good to go. So let's bring in our first project. And I'll tell you, this first project, wow, it definitely went so quick that, look, there's only two pieces to this. So on, so what we're using, let me bring all the bits and pieces that go to this suite. And I did check before going live that everything in this suite is available. Nothing is showing that it's on low inventory. So the bundle is, so this is every every everyday sky suite. So there's the everyday arches bundle. So you have the stamp set photopolymer. And then you have the Everyday Arches dies. Now I know these are very popular because at one point these keep on going on back order because they're selling so fast. But these are nice. They're stitched, and you got all these different sizes. And again, because the stamp set's photopolymer, you can die cut your arches, and then you can stamp your greetings. So some of these are already curved like you see on here. Then there is the embellishments. This is the two-tone sparkle gems. This is actually the very first thing that I ordered out of this whole suite when we had pre-order, because they were Fresh Freesia and I think Lost Lagoon, like two colors that I really, really like. So there's those. There is also the white woven ribbon. So this is a really nice linen type of ribbon. So we are definitely using this on two of the projects. And for one of them, we're going to be coloring this ribbon. And then this, I'm thinking, is like the biggest part of this whole suite is the designer series paper. This is Everyday Skies. And you have all of these patterns on one side of sky images. So there's some night, there's some daytime. There looks like some that may be sunrise or sunset. And then the other side has all these other patterns that you can use as well that are not really a sky, but really, really cool paper. And so, of course, I do have another pack that I have sitting out there in my cart that I do want to get. Now, another thing, I don't know if this came out the same time or just afterwards, but another thing that coordinates with the dies are the Arched Wishes stamp set. Now, I will tell you, it's a little deceiving when you kind of see this in the online store. Look at the size of these stamps. Like, this cupcake is huge. And then you got a balloon and you got your greeting. I mean, so these images are pretty big. So I decided that since these cards went together so quickly, that I thought I would do a bonus card and I would bring in this stamp set and I would use some of the elements that are in this for our bonus card. So that'll be our last card. Okay. So this first one, two pieces here. Basic white thick, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25, and I may have to lift this just a little bit. And the reason why is I'm looking at my laptop and I'm kind of seeing the picture kind of, a little glitchy and go in and out because I think it's trying to focus, and I wanted to stop doing that. And I don't know what's going to happen when I put my hands down here and I start moving. I may have to bring it up a little bit. Okay, hopefully it doesn't do that. Okay, I need you to stop doing that. Is it getting glitchy on your side where it looks like it's trying to focus in and out? I'm gonna I'm gonna refresh my laptop here and see if it helps. It's still doing it. It's not doing it for you? Hasn't stopped trying to focus. Let's see if this will. It's still doing it. That is that is kind of annoying though. I don't know how to make that stop. Hmm. Let's see what it's doing now. Seems like when I move my hands out of the way, it okay. As long as I keep my hands in the camera, it looks like it's not gonna do it. So I guess I gotta keep my hands here. Okay, so 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25, basic white thick. And then out of one of the designs of the designer series paper, I had die cut it using one of the everyday arches dies. And we're going to be doing our stamping on our card base and also on the paper itself. So let me get my stamps. And for this one, we're going to bring in this hot air balloon. And then I want the stamp that says embrace the journey. Now this, so I'm casing this from a project that is actually seen on the website where this product is. And it's actually a framed picture that they did. So they have a piece of the white cardstock, and then they have this die cut just glued onto that. They got they embrace the journey on stamped on there, and then they have it in a white frame. And I thought that's really cool, and I actually would like to make that frame, as a matter of fact. Yeah, Carol. It's not that it was going that it wasn't going blurry. Yeah, I don't see it doing it right now. What was happening? It seemed like it just was kept on like going in and out like this. And I hope that I didn't mess it up and it's going to start doing it again. But it looks like it fixed itself and it's not doing it now. Yeah, it didn't really go blurry. It was just kind of getting a little glitchy and going in and out. All right, so I got my Pierce mat and got my blocks here. I think I need to wash these blocks. They're overdue for getting a bath. Okay, so I am going to take well, actually, I'm not going to worry about that quite yet, but the ink that I want to use for this one is my Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And open this. Okay, so my Embrace the Journey, I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to stamp this all the way down towards the bottom and try to get it centered. But I want to come most of the way down because when I go to put this paper there, I want it to fit. Okay, and then on the designer series paper, I'm going to take this a little hot air balloon, ink that up, and then I'm going to stamp this twice. No! Now I got to line it up. No, I hate when that happens. Okay, not bad. I hate when that happens. It's like you're looking through photopolymer and the whole thing doesn't stamp. No. Okay. So really, other than adhering this together and adding some embellishments, this card's done. All right, so what do I want to adhere this now with? I'll use my stamp and seal for this. And I need to start it. Is this the newer one? Want to make sure I got an excuse me, I got another one sitting up here that I don't know which one is which. I think it's this one Because see, this one I think is like it's folding back on itself. That refill one was messed up. So it's this one. And let me bring in my silicone craft sheet just to get this started. You know, I wouldn't have been able to do that if it was red rubber, right? Yeah, I hate when that happens. Okay, so then I'm going to line this up just above that greeting. And there's the card. I mean, I think the paper, you know, all those bright colors, it just pops off of that white. And then for my embellishments, instead of using the ones that come with the suite, only because the colors in it, what did I do with it? Because the colors in it are more of that, I think like Lost Lagoon and Fresh Freesia, it doesn't really go to me. So instead, these are the 2025 to 2027 in color flat pearls. Now, even though the yellow, so I think which color in here? So the color of the embellishments, the yellow is Daffodil Delight, and then the orange is Pumpkin Pie. And it looks like in this designer series paper, none of the new in colors are in it. But I have found that the, let's see, what is it? The Cloud Cover, the Timid Tiger, and this Darling Duckling will work well in with this paper because the colors are pretty close to what's in the design. So let me take your pick tool. And I'll grab one of these large Darling Duckling ones and place that there. And then one of the medium Timid Tigers. I mean, if you look at that, that color looks really, really close to the color that's in the paper. And then one of the small cloud covers, I will put that one right up there. So there is the first card. So, I mean, easy peasy, right? And again, if you look in the online store under this suite, I think it's more under the designer series paper. You will see this sample, but it's done as a frame piece in a white frame. I think it was like a 5x7. Yes, Tracy, a very easy card. Very easy card. You know, as I started putting all these projects together, I was like, okay, this is going really, really quick. And so it's like, let's see what else I can add to it. And I was lucky enough that there's another stamp set that will go in it. Now, something tells me I think Yvonne's going to like this card. I think she's really going to like this card. So this card's got a little bit more to it. Oh, there's one other thing that I wanted to do with that. One other thing. My Wink Estella. I'm going to add some Wink Estella to that designer series paper. Now, I'm not going to brush any over those balloons because I do not want that ink to smear. But I just want to add a little bit of shimmer in these clouds. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. I don't want to squeeze this because I don't want a puddle of it. I just want a little bit of the sparkle, but I don't know if you can see that in the camera or not, but there's just like that very little tiny bit of sparkle in these clouds. We're going to do that on all of them, and actually let me see if I can get a little bit more Wink of Stella to go to the tip of that brush. So there's the first one. Okay, so the second one. Cool. Like some pink. This one, this paper, this particular pattern of paper, I really, really like. So this card is a case from Julie Davison. I saw this on Pinterest as well, and I thought it looked really, really cool. So I want to give kudos to her on this. So my card base is Melon Mambo. It's 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. I have 2 pieces of basic white. Both of these measure 8.5, not 8.5, 5 1/4 by 4. One of them is going to go on the inside of the card, so I'll put that in there now. Take that, move that out of the way. And we'll center this like so. And then this will be layered on top of our card front. And then I have a piece of the designer series paper. This measures 5 by 3 3/4. And then I took one of the smaller arches and I die cut that out of the center. And then out of a scrap piece of bubble bath, I had die cut this. So this is going to layer over that. So you're never even going to know that this was die cut out of that paper. It's going to be layered together like this. And then like so. Okay, so then I'm going to take my designer series paper, add some adhesive to this. I don't know why I didn't just put it down on the bottom. Okay. This will be centered on our piece of basic white. Oh, you're back just in time, Yvonne. The card that I'm pretty sure you're really going to like when all is said and done. So we have that right there. Now, what I can do is take my Wink of Stella and do the same thing. Just brush some on this paper, and not much is coming out. Okay. I have another one sitting up here, but the problem is it may have too much coming out of it. And I don't want this to be overkill on the Wink of Stella. This is the one I think that, I don't know, this could be the one. I'll just put this in here and we'll see how that one, I'm running out of room here. We'll see how that one is. That one I remember when I went to first use it. Yeah, too much came out of it, but it's been laying on its side for a while. So, okay. For my bubble bath piece, let me bring in my Pearson mat for this one. And then this, we're going to use the stamp. Let me get my stamp and scrub here. And clean these stamps. And this one I'm going to use Know You Are Loved. And then there's another stamp that has these birds in it. So let's pull this out. And we want this one. And we want the birds. And let's see, we'll take our stamps, and we'll just put them inside the lid so we don't lose them. As you know, photopolymer stamps will stick to anything. Okay, so let's add our birds. And then this one, we're going to bring in our bigger block for this one. Okay, so what's nice is the way these are curved, they're going to fit perfectly right in your arch. So for this one, I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss. And kind of move some things out of the way here. Yep. No, this is card number 2. Card number 1, Yvonne, it was very simple. A piece of designer series paper and a card base. That's the first card. This is actually a case out of the project. If you go in the online store and you look up the designer series paper in this suite, you will see, I think it's probably like a 5x7 size frame. And so it's a case off of that. Well, these are very easy cards. That's why there's a bonus card on this. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp this up near the top here. Okay, well, Deborah, I don't know if you're already gone, but sleep well. I hope everything goes well tomorrow. Okay. So it looks really, really dark, but as it dries, you'll see a little more of that purple. And then, because that is pretty intense, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp these birds on this designer series paper. However, I'm going to stamp off before I stamp them down. So let's see, how do I want my birds to go? Because yeah, that's really dark. So we'll stamp them off, and then I will stamp them right up here. Like so. So you can still see them. They're just not as intense as that greeting. Okay, so we're done with our stamping. Okay, so then on this piece here, I will add some dimensionals. Okay, and then this will be layered on our bubble bath piece. Okay. And then this will fit right in here, like so. And then we're going to take this ribbon, and we're not going to tie a bow, but we're going to tie a knot. So I definitely want to give myself enough to be able to do this and not fight with it. So I'm going to cut right here. Okay, and then I'm going to take this and we're going to tie a knot, and of course I'm going to bring in my reverse locking tweezers just to be like that third hand. Okay, pull that out. Tie our knot. And then we'll slide this down just a little bit. I think that's good. Bring it up just a little bit. All right, and then let's trim. And this one. Let's not cut my finger off because these things will do something like that because they're that sharp. Okay, and then this whole piece is going to get popped up on our card. And we'll put one there, another one there. Oops, missed that one. Okay, and then that, actually, let's put this piece down first. It'll be a little bit easier. Okay, we'll put that, center that right there on the card. And then this will fit right over that, like so. Then I'm going to bring in that Wink of Stella, and hopefully this isn't really crazy and on this too, I'm going to avoid putting it on the birds because I don't want it to smear that ink. You just want a little shimmer in these clouds. Okay, and then on this one, I'm going to use these two-tone sparkle gems. Got a lot of stuff in the way. All right, so, and these are pretty flat too, so there's not a lot of bulk to these. So these will do well when you mail the cards. Put another one there. And then we'll put another one up here. So there is the second card. See, so these cards go together pretty quickly. So again, why there's a bonus card. So there is our second card. Okay, so our third card. So we had what, kind of like a sunrise type of card. I would say that last one we did is what, kind of like a sun, almost like a sunset. So our third card is going to be our night sky card. So here is our blue card, Terry. Okay, so the card base is Night of Navy, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Out of this designer series paper, I have die cut this and then die cut the smaller one out of the center of it. Then I have a piece of basic white that's 5 1/4 by 4. This is going to be for the inside. And then one of our layers, it's Misty Moonlight, and that's die cut out of those. And we're going to stamp on this one as well. So before I do anything, these stamps that I use, the Blackberry Bliss, I'm going to clean them. Now they're going to stain because Blackberry Bliss is one of those colors that are going to stain your stamps, your photopolymer. So there's no way you're going to get that completely clean. I mean, one of the things that you can do to minimize the staining, you can also stamp it in Versamark first and then stamp it with your color. A Terry card, yep. Okay, so on this one, we'll fold and burnish the card base, and then we'll take that basic white piece and we'll put that inside of it. Of course, I'm doing this all cockeyed. You're here for it, huh? Okay, so then this bigger piece here, I'm going to adhere this to the card base. Okay, so we're going to center this like so. Okay, and then we'll add some of that Winkostella to it. Okay, and then on our Misty Moonlight piece, we're going to stamp on that, and we want the stamp that says reach for the stars. So to determine the size of the arch that I'm using, I basically took the stamp and kind of seen which size die worked better in it. And let's see, so let me get my block. And then this one is going to be stamped in Night of Navy. Well, wait till you see what I do with the ribbon for this one. I would say that what I do with this ribbon, I would not mass produce this card, or you will find yourself needing to replace your Stampin' Blends. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp this, and I'm not going to rock this block because I see that ink down there. I'm going to stamp this right up here, like so, and it worked fine. And then we'll clean that off. That's the only thing that we're going to stamp. So then we're going to take the Designer Series paper. We're going to first close this up. We don't want ink all over everything. And I am going to adhere this. So this is similar to what I did with the second card, but it is changed up just a little bit. So this is going to be centered, hopefully, like so. And then this too, we're going to add a little bit of Winkostella to it. All right, now, so on this one, we're going to bring the ribbon in. And I want a piece that's going to wrap around. And I don't want this to be really, really long because I don't want to have more ribbon to color than I really need to. And then I'm going to tie a bow just so this way I know what size to cut my my ribbon. And that's not working. So we're going to color our ribbon with blends. And again, this is something that after a while that brush tip will start to fray a little bit. So like I said, this is one of those cards that if you're going to do this, you don't want to what do you call it, do a lot of coloring on the ribbon, because you will have to replace your Stampin' Blend. Alright, so that's all we need for the ribbon. Okay, so now on these, let's move that out of the way. We'll bring in our scrap paper. And then for this, instead of coloring it with one color, I looked at the, hold on, what am I missing? Blue is my boyfriend. Is black getting jealous there, Terry? Oh, Terry, does Joe know about blue? Oh, funny. So I looked at the colors that are in the paper. So there is some Blackberry Bliss in there. And of course, there's also some Night of Navy. So I am going to do a combination of the dark Blackberry Bliss and the light Night of Navy. So I am going to start with the Blackberry Bliss. Now, with this, you want to use the side. You don't want to come down with the tip, but just like some light strokes across the ribbon. And then turn your marker as you go, because you can see that starts to pull the color out of there. And I think this brush tip is not fully pushed in there either. That looks like it's extended a little too much. You know, I just heard what I said, and that didn't sound right. That didn't sound right. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it over. And I'm going to do like these edges. Now, I'm not worried if every single bit of this is completely covered in color, because I'm going to come in with my light Night of Navy, and I'm going to add a few strokes of the Night of Navy in here. So we're going to have kind of like our two-toned ribbon. So this is going to be the piece that's going to go, that's going to be wrapped around here, and then we're going to create our bow, and then we're going to attach our bow to the top of that. So that does look really cool. You got those two colors in there. Let's see. Now we're going to do this one. This one's a bit longer, so I may need to replace this one. Okay. Yeah, so if you were to do this with your regular Stampin' Right markers or a re-inker, hint hint, um, your ink is really not gonna dry on this. I mean, it will dry, but the ink is gonna, if it just, yeah, it'll come off. You know, if your fingers are damp, or yeah, so the best bet is using an alcohol marker, and it's not gonna come off. Okay, we're almost done with this. And then what I'll do, normally when you have a dual tip marker, you'll want to store it horizontal, but in this case, what I'm going to do after I color this, I'm going to have this, I'm going to put it up like this, so some ink will end up going to the tip of this brush tip, because I've pulled a lot of ink out of that. You can see how much lighter it is, and it does start to do a little wear and tear on that brush tip too. So I'm going to put that so the ink kind of gets back into that tip. And then let's bring in the light Night of Navy, and we're going to do the same thing. So instead of doing just one color, I wanted to bring in the two colors since it was in that designer series paper. Okay. So let's set that aside. We'll let that dry a little bit. And then let me get my Scotch tape. And then we'll wrap this around like so. Take that down. Don't do it. Don't do what? Now we'll put this side down. Okay, so isn't that pretty? The way that came out. And it kind of goes with, like I said, the colors that are in the paper. Okay, so now when you color any ribbon with your alcohol markers, it does stiffen the ribbon up some. So let's see. Are both going to work? Probably not. You can tie a bow. I probably didn't leave myself enough on that tail. But smaller. Okay, I think that'll work. Don't want the bow too big. Okay, I think that'll work. So let me get my scissors. And we'll trim this. Like so. And then let me get my glue dots. Yeah, but then the ink will still smear though. Okay, where's my glue dots? So again, when I got a bow and I'm adding glue dots, instead of just adding one glue dot on that knot, I'm going to do one on either side of it. And we'll place that right in the middle like so. And then I will take this and pop this up. Let's see, put one on either side there. And I'll add one more right down there. Okay, let me close this up. Okay, and then we'll place this right over the top, like so. And then we'll bring in those embellishments again, because these colors will definitely go with this. So we'll add one right down here, and then two smaller ones up here on the Misty Moonlight portion of it. So there is the third card. So really cool how the ribbon came out on that. And again, it matches the colors that are in that designer series paper. Okay, so now we have our bonus card. So again, like I mentioned on with this suite, there is another stamp set that came out that does coordinate with these dies. And if you hadn't seen this stamp set, the Arched Wishes, this is a red rubber cling stamp set. These images are like, they're really big. And I gotta say this because I thought this was hilarious. And I figure, well, I got all you've been following me for a while, and I know all of you got, you know, a sense of humor. So if you're familiar with Stampin' Up, which I think all of you here are, you know that we do have these photopolymer stamp sets that are called reversibles, that you can stamp your more detailed side, you know, down, and then you can clean that stamp, flip it over, ink up the back side of that stamp to then stamp over it to fill it in. Well, somebody made a comment, I forget what page I was on Facebook. They went and said, well, it's a good thing that this stamp set isn't one of those reversible stamp sets, because your cupcake, okay, that's what your image looks like. If you turn it over, what does that look like? Exactly, Tracy. Exactly. Yeah, I wouldn't have noticed that, but you know, leave it to someone else to notice it and say something about it, and you know, I thought that was hilarious. Okay, so on this one, I actually did not, all I did was I just cut things out. So we are going to need that stamp, our finger, and we'll need this streamer one. Okay, you know, I'm not gonna say it. Just not gonna say it. Oh, things can go so wrong and in the wrong direction so very quickly. I tell you guys, it really can. So then there's like this starburst stamp, and then we have a really nice script, happy birthday. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. And that balloon too is not, I mean, it's a large image. Okay, so for this one, my card base is Lemon Lime Twist, again 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4.25. Out of basic black, I think this may be the largest or the second largest arch. And then the one that's just smaller than that, I die cut that in basic white. This is the piece that we're going to do our stamping on. And then I do have a scrap piece of basic white where we'll stamp our cupcake on, and then we're going to color it with blends, and then we're going to fussy cut it because again there's no die for it, you know. So let's go ahead and fold and burnish this. And then I'm going to get my block here for our happy birthday. Now, I don't have the labels on this, so the way I'm going to line this up to try and get this stamp straight is just look at the bottom edge, and then we're going to stamp this in black. And because the color is fairly light, move those out of the way. I don't need that piece of basic white inside of it. All right, so let's ink this up. Okay, make sure that I stamp it the right way. And I'm looking at the block to make sure that that's straight. Okay, there's our happy birthday. Okay, so we'll set this aside for a moment. And then let me get a block for our bird. No, our cupcake. And I need the bigger block for this one. Oh, where's my other stamp set? I'll just stick these on here, so, and then put them away the proper way when I'm done. And then we got that. And we're going to stamp this. My word, now it's like every time I look at this, that's all I'm going to see. Okay, so you can see that the lines are they're thick, so you have, yeah, there's a good lined image for that. I'm going to set that aside. I'm actually going to, do I need that one again? I don't know yet. What do I want to do next? I'm going to take this. Now I'm going to bring in my Pierce mat for this, just so I can see exactly, you know, the edge of this die cut. And I'm going to clean these really quick. Okay. And let me kind of put these stamps away because I know I need these blocks, and I don't have many of the larger sized ones. So this is not going to fit on that. Is it going to fit on this one? Okay, I think I'm going to use, I think this block, they retired this larger rectangular block. And then this is going to need, because it's so big, it's not even going to fit on that larger block. So the great big F block that we have, that's for those big background stamps. We need that for this one. Okay. And I want to kind of make sure this is somewhat straight. Okay. So on this piece here, we're going to ink this up. I can put that on there. Ink this up. Again, I can't rock it because that's got a lot of ink on it. And I'm going to stamp this right along the side here. And hopefully I got it straight and it's all going to stamp. Yay! It worked. And let me clean this. I definitely don't want black ink all over everything. Okay. And take that off of there and kind of get this block out of the way. All right. Then I'm going to close this up for the time being. We're going to stamp these sparkle pieces in the black, but I'm going to do that after I do this next part. So I'm going to bring in my scrap paper here, and we got the streamer. And for the streamers, I am going to use Coastal Cabana, you know, the color that lets us know God loves us, as Dina would say. I also have Lemon Lime Twist and Fresh Freesia. So we'll start with Coastal Cabana. And we'll ink this up. And then we'll start adding some streamers to this. And hopefully my paper is big enough. Okay. And we'll just do a little bit of a zigzag here. Like so. And then we'll clean our stamp. And then we'll bring in, let's see, what color we want next. We want the Fresh Freesia. Ooh, squeaky. And we'll ink this up. And come across here. And down here. And one more time. And actually this card is kind of cased off of something that Dina Rico had done. The only difference is I kind of changed up the colors a little bit. She kind of stuck with 2 colors and the black, and well, no, she did use 3 colors, but they're all colors that, oh, kind of came off. She just kind of stuck with like the peach and the pink colors on hers. Okay, and then we're going to bring in our lemon lime twist. This is really inky. Okay. And then I'm going to come down like so. Yeah, very inky. Let's see, and then one more. Where do we want this one to go? Like here. Okay. So let's clean this. Ow! Don't pinch your fingers in the Stampin' Scrub. That does not feel good. Okay, and then we're going to take our little sparkle here and we're going to stamp that with our black. Okay. And you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to do my cupcake first, so then that way when I cut it out, I can kind of place it over here, and then I'll know where to stamp this, because I want this to be at the top of where my candle is, so this will be like right behind it. All right, so we're going to color this in, and for this I'm going to use the light and dark peach pie and the light and dark pretty in pink. All right, so we're going to take our light peach pie and we're going to color in a wrapper to our cupcake. And I'm not worried if any color goes outside of the line, because when I cut this out, I will be cutting it right along that black line. Okay. And then I'll take the light, pretty and pink, all of the icing. Okay. What's this? That's the dark one. I want to keep the dark one. Okay, so then on the candle, I'm going to rotate between the dark and the light peach pie and that dark pretty in pink. Okay, and then I'll use the dark just to add some shadow on here. And then our dark. Okay, so that's all the coloring that we're going to do on that. Okay, oh, the fun part. Let me get my snips. Here we go, guys. Oh, Terry's leaving us. Love you too, Terry. Okay. And this is not too hard to cut out, being that it's also a larger image. Makes it a little bit easier. But either way, it's still fussy cutting. Still don't like it. This is definitely one of them. If you're going to mass produce a card like this using this image, you stamp a whole bunch of this, and then you use something like your Brother Scan and Cut to cut it out. I'm trying to keep this wick to the candle. Okay. And there's a gnat in my camera. Are you kidding me? Really? I didn't invite him. Okay, so we got that cut out. Dun dun dun. All right. And then I'm going to now I'm going to take this and kind of place this down like so. And then we'll ink up our little sparkle thing here. And this is about where I'm going to place it. So I'll put that one there. Put one over here. Let's see, I'll put one and another one over here. Okay. And we'll clean this. All right, so now I'm going to take this piece here and I'm going to adhere it down to the black one. So, and then we'll adhere this to the card base. Like so. And then we'll take our cupcake and some dimensionals and there we go. Okay, and then for my candle, I have a sheet in here of the mini ones that I like to, let's see, I like to cut some of these strips. Actually, I got right here. Place that right on the candle. Sure that's stuck down. Okay. Get that out of the way. Yes, lemon lime twist and the black look great together. Okay, so this, I'm going to put this on here. And I want it just below that sparkle because I'm going to add one of my embellishments there. And for this card, I'm going to use, these are the iridescent faceted gems. These did carry over. I don't think these are on the last chance, and I hope they won't be for quite a while because these are really pretty. Okay, so we're going to take one of these larger ones. We'll add that there. And then another one up here. One down here. Okay, and then one more thing left to do with this. Bring in the Wink of Stella. This is the okay, do I not have any in this one either? A hard time seeing if I have any coming out. Okay, let me see what else I got here. How does this one look? Okay, it seems like there's a little bit more in there. And we did down here too. Okay. Card's done. Still 2-hour video. All right. There is the our last card and our bonus card for tonight using the coordinating arched wishes stamp set that coordinates with the Everyday Arches dies. So let me bring in, kind of get some of the stuff out of the way. Let me bring in all the other cards that we made tonight. So here was our first one, very super simple, just cutting out the designer series paper and just doing a little stamping on it and adding our greeting onto the card base. Again, I cased this from in the online store under the designer series paper. They did this sample, and I think they did it in a white 5x7 frame, just a piece of white cardstock, stamped a greeting on it, and then add the paper and stamp those little balloons on it. And then our second card, all about the pink and some of the purple in there. Really pretty. And then we did our nighttime sky, our reach for the stars. And then we used the dark Blackberry Bliss and the light night and navy, and we colored that that white ribbon that comes with the suite. Really cute. And again, added a little bit of Wink Stella onto the designer series paper. And then here is our bonus card. We did some stamping, we did some coloring and cutting out, and just a lot of bright colors all together for a really nice birthday card. So tonight it's going to be 4 cards that we will be giving away. And so if you haven't had a chance yet, there is a link pinned up at the top in the comments section to add your name to the spreadsheet. And then I'll take those names, I'll put it into my wheel of names, and then we'll do a drawing. So if I choose your name, it's going to be in the same order that I did them. So card 1, 2, 3, and 4. And my plan is to get these out in the mail tomorrow, since in the morning I will be running out to do a few errands before Andrea gets here. Okay, Yvonne. I don't know if you're already on there yet or not, so I have to take a peek at that. So let me kind of just tidy up a little bit so I can then bring my my laptop into the screen. I get some things out of the way because things pile up in here very, very quickly. All right, let me bring in my little thing with my names and my pen. Yeah, she does. I don't know. I haven't looked at that spreadsheet since I've come on. Okay, so right now I have Becky, Deborah, and I know Deborah, she kind of went, she was getting tired. And Terry, she left us. She was getting kind of tired. Froggy, Sharon, and Tracy. That's who I have on here. So let me, is there anybody else? Let me see. Is Carol still with us? Does she want to be on here? Just looking in the chat here to see if there's anybody else. Oops. me see. Anybody else say anything on here? I am, but I am okay. I have so many cards. Okay. All right. So, let me take these names. And take them and put it in. Now, okay, so both Deborah and Terry had already left the chat. So the thing is, if I end up choosing them, then they're not able to choose cards, right? So, okay. So I'm gonna kind of make this decision, okay, for this one. So just to, you know, kind of make it a bit fair. So I'm going to, I'm going to remove both of them off of this one, okay? So that's going to leave Becky, Froggy, Sharon, and Tracy on here. So each one of you will end up, yeah, we know which one she wants. Yeah. You know, but I also have an extra card because remember there's the sample cards that I also do. So I already have like another one of those too. So, and I can send a card out to her. All right, so I am going to move these kind of like out of the way. I am going to grab my laptop here and let me move these lights out of the way because we know what's going to happen when I bring this into the screen, like so. Still got a light shining on my screen. And then, so we got our wheel of names. So I got the 4 of you in there. And so each one of you are going to get a card. So Tracy. Anybody else? Becky. So which card would you like, Tracy? Number 3. Okay. Go back to my thing here. And spin again. Froggy. Number 4. That's the second time you did that. I think, didn't you, Tracy? Okay, so now Sharon and Becky. So Sharon, which one would you like? Would you like the first card or the second card that we made tonight? Is Sharon still with us? I didn't even check to see if whether or not she came off or not. Okay. All right. So you know what I'm going to do in this case then, Becky? Um, which one would you like? And then the other one I'll send to Sherry, and then, well, we know which one I'll go and send to Terry, and then I'll what do you call it? I'll take one of the other ones and send it to Deborah. Okay, so let me kind of get this out of the way, and then we'll wrap everything up. So again, these cards I will get out in the mail tomorrow when I go out in the morning to get all my running around done before Andrea comes here. So if you like tonight's live, please give the video a thumbs up. And if you, well, I know all of you here have subscribed, but for those that are watching the replay, first, thank you for coming by to watch. And yeah, hit the subscribe and then the notification bell. That'll let you know whenever I post some pre-recorded videos. And when I go live, I typically do at least 2 videos a week. So my Throwback Thursday and Friday Night Live. Not next week, but the week after that. There's actually going to be 3 videos that week. But then again, also next week, remember that I will not only be going live on Friday night at 7 p.m., I will also have my special guest stamper, Andrea, will be here, and she'll be doing Sunrise Sailing bundle of product on Saturday night at 5 p.m. Also, again, I do have a newsletter that is linked below in the description. That'll have all my video content that I'm doing for next month. And let's see, that'll go out on the first Tuesday of the month, and it'll have all the new kits Stampin' Up has, the paper pumpkin that'll come out that month, and anything that I'm doing and all that. And again, if you're local to me, I was originally going to do a class tomorrow using new product that'll be in the holiday mini catalog, but because I don't think I really gave much of a notice on it or really talked about it too much, there wasn't going to be many people attending. So I'm going to push that out like into August. So there'll be another invite for it. So I think that's all I got, guys. So wherever you may be safe and have a wonderful weekend. And if it's hot where you're at, which is going to be here, please stay cool. And I will see you in the next one. Again, thank you everybody for joining me tonight, and thank you for those that come on and watch the replay. So until then, everybody have a blessed one. Bye bye.